Bonjour! This is a video presentation I wanted to make for you to go along with the PowerPoint presentation that I've posted for you on nasal vowels. And the reason that it's important to practice nasal vowels is because even though we do use nasal vowels in English, they are used much more frequently in French, and they are also a little bit different. In English, we pronounce the M or the N after a nasal sound. However, in French, the vowel plus the M or N creates the sound, and so the M and the N are not pronounced. And that's very important to practice and get out of the habit of pronouncing the M or the N, as well as practice the pronunciation so that you become used to it and it's easy and it's fluid and you're not making mistakes in pronunciation that can lead to miscommunication. So, like I said, nasal vowels are when a vowel comes before either an M or an N, and then it's followed by another consonant. If it's followed by a vowel, then it is not nasalized. So, real simple, when you're reading, just pay attention to that. Should the vowel, or should it create a nasal vowel sound? Just keep your eyes open for that. They're called nasal vowels because basically what's going on with the body, with the physiology, is that your throat is closing up. And so the air is forced through your sinus, through your nasal cavity, and that creates the nasal sound. And so I'm going to go through and just explain to you a little bit how those sounds are created, give you a few tips to help you create those sounds. First of all, let's do an exercise. Take your hand, put it on your nose. Say the word car. Car. Now say the word can't. Can't. What do you feel? What's the difference? Well, what I feel is with the word car, I feel more air coming through my mouth. And I don't feel a lot of vibration in my hand from my nose. With the word can't, I don't feel as much air coming out of my mouth directly, and I feel a lot of vibration in my hands. What does that tell me? With the word car, it's not a nasal vowel. It's not a nasalized sound because the air is coming through my mouth more than it is through my nose. With the word can't, it is a nasalized sound because less air is coming through my mouth, and I feel the vibration from my nose, which tells me that there's air going through my nose. Okay? As you learn to produce the following sounds in French, keep your hand on your nose and pay attention to whether you feel the vibration in the air, and also pay attention to how your mouth is moving when you produce those sounds so that you can get used to it and remember it for the next time. So the first nasal vowel that we're going to work on is the sound all, and that's spelled E-N, A-N, etc. if you follow along in your PowerPoint. So in English, say ah or aw, ah or aw. Raise your jaw to close the opening in your mouth a little bit. Narrow your lips, purse them as if you're making the sound in good, while keeping the same space inside of the mouth. And the back of your tongue will raise a little bit to close the opening of the throat. And that's at the top of the throat, right where the mouth ends, basically. The opening of your throat should be smaller too, and that forces more of the air through your nose. So, ah, oh, oh, oh. Do you see how that works? Put your hand on your nose. Oh, 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 oh. You can feel the vibration in your nose. Let's do an exercise. Practice a few words. Enfant, enfant. Banque, banque. Tante, tante. Trente, trente. Cent, cent. Enchanté, enchanté. And you should hear, especially on that last word, enchanté, you'll hear the difference between the two first en, because it's in there twice, even though it's spelled differently. Enchanté. And the A sound is not a nasalized sound, so you should feel the difference when you have your hand on your nose between those sounds. The next sound we're going to do is which is very important to learn because by itself is actually a word, and it's the indefinite article for nouns, and it means a or n, but it's indefinite, meaning it's not a specific object. However, is the masculine form. The reason that this is important is because if you accidentally pronounce the N instead of pronouncing that as a whole sound, then it actually means the feminine version of the indefinite article. So it changes the meaning. So it's very important to get the sound, to not pronounce the N or the M in front or for the nasal sound. So say the word good, good. You'll notice that the sound sounds like how E is pronounced in French. Good, It's very close. Keep the same shape with your mouth and lower your jaw a little bit. Notice that the opening of your throat closes a little bit, forcing the air through your nose. Okay? Let's practice a few words for that one. Lundi, lundi. Parfum, parfum. Un. Next sound, It almost sounds like but it's not. What's changing? I'm just widening my mouth, basically. That's the main difference. But it's spelled I-N, A-I-N, E-I-N, etc. You can follow that along in your PowerPoint. Okay, say the word me. See how my lips are stretched out. So use the E sound in me to start the shape for this nasal sound. Drop your jaw a little bit while keeping your lips stretched, and your throat should close enough to get the nasal sound. Me, 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 Okay? Try a few words. Cinq, cinq. Pain, pain. Peinture, peinture. Imparfait, imparfait. Européen, européen. Okay? Last nasal vowel we're going to work on is on. On. That one's very closed, but it's very much in the nose. Okay? In English, pronounce the word on, which actually is a nasal vowel as well. However, we pronounce the N. You see the difference there? Keep the same shape in your mouth and purse your lips as if you're looking at fireworks and you're saying ooh, ooh. Okay, so on, but you gotta close your throat too, okay? As your lips close, the air will be forced into your nasal cavity, creating the on sound in French. Oh. So you have to make sure you're pushing the air up when you're closing your mouth to create the ooh sound. You're not going to actually create the ooh sound. You're going to make your lips form that shape, but you're also going to close up your throat to force the air into your nose. Oh. 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 So pronounce with me. On. On. Onze. Onze. Citron. Citron. Okay? A few more tips here. Try to practice these nasal vowel sounds at least 3 times when you're practicing to solidify the sound in your ears and how it feels physically to make these sounds. Get in the habit of checking yourself whenever you come across a vowel followed by an N or an M when reading in French, and also followed by another consonant. Are you pronouncing it as a nasal vowel? If it should be, don't pick up the bad habit of pronouncing the N or M like you would in English. Incorrect pronunciation can actually cause miscommunications because you might be pronouncing words other than what you intend to say. And as always, practice, practice, practice. Try to do this every day. Even if it's just 30 seconds a day, it'll reinforce it. If you practice it every day, it'll stick in your head eventually and it will become natural. So merci beaucoup. À bientôt.